Hey guys, what's going on? Sherman here. I like to do these videos every now and then where I go through one of my favorite knife websites, Blade HQ, and look at their coming soon section and just take a look at some of the new knives coming out in the future with you guys and kind of tell you my impressions of them and what I think right off the bat about them and if I'm interested in them or not. So like I said, I like to do these every now and then, and I thought this was the perfect time because this is kind of, I believe it's a week after SHOT Show now, maybe a little bit more. And if you guys don't know, SHOT Show is the biggest gun, knife, and gear show in the world. The only thing close to it is Blade Show, which is probably the largest knife-only show in the world. But anyway, this is where Blade HQ, they take pictures of a lot of the prototype knives and all that kind of good stuff, and they put them on their site and coming soon. So like I said, this is where I just want to kind of talk about it with you guys, show you some of the ones that they have featured on their site right now. That is as of February 6th, 2014. So first, let's start with some of these new Bokers. Boker always seems to have an outrageous lineup. They just always seem to have new knives coming out, but these are pretty cool. These are these two knives right here. They're G&G Grant & Gavin Hawk designed knives. I'm really happy to see them making some new knives. You know, they're famous. Well, they're famous custom knife makers, but you guys will probably know them from the Kershaw Ram, which I would like to get my hands on one, but they're discontinued now. But anyway, so that's pretty cool. Some new designs. They mostly work with Kershaw. And here is a new Kershaw fixed blade. You know, Kershaw does not make many fixed blades. There's a new one. It's kind of like their, I forgot what they called it back in the day, but it was like their kind of version of a military boot knife. Well, here's kind of another play on that. This is really interesting, and that is a Kershaw Tomahawk. It's pretty cool. It's called Siege. That's pretty cool. I like it. So he's got a nice little pry bar tool down here. It looks nice, and the list price is even nicer. So 50 bucks from Blade HQ. That's pretty cool. I don't know what kind of sheet that's going to come with, but it's available pre-order. So that's pretty cool. Kershaw has really impressed me lately with their knives that are coming out. Here's some new. The Nura, if I'm pronouncing that right, but there's some new Kershaw designs coming out and part of their budget line. See, there's the 3.5-inch flipper, and they're pretty cheap, but they're very cool. They look like Ti, but I mean they're stainless, titanium nitride coated, so don't see the TI up here in the model name and get that impression. But those are pretty cool. I like those. They're very different. You see, there's two different versions of it, similar design, but I like them. I think they're pretty cool. Here's another Kershaw, the Manifold. Pretty grungy looking. It's featuring that kind of black wash finish they're doing now. Pretty cool. This one's a little bit cheaper, you know, 20 bucks, and that is featuring 3 CR13 MOV, or just 3 CR13 instead of 8 CR13. These two knives right here are some of the ones that I am most excited about for this year, and that is Zero Tolerance has collaborated with Ernest Emerson, and ZT, with their, for the most part, outstanding quality, are making some of the coolest looking knives on the market, and that is the Emerson. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, and I'm just going to show you this one because this is the one that I really want. This is the Zero Tolerance 0620 SF, or CF, I'm sorry, carbon fiber. And it's like I said, you take for the most part, outstanding quality of Zero Tolerance and combine it with some of the most overbuilt, or not some of the most overbuilt, but I mean just some of the most rugged tactical knives on the market, and some of the coolest looking ones by far, and that is Emerson knives. So it's a really cool collaboration. I never thought I would see Emerson go full bore with collaborations like this. I mean, they did for a little bit, I believe, with Benchmade, and I think they made some autos. No, that was actually Kershaw also. So I think Emerson has pretty much only collaborated with Kai Cutlery so far, but very cool. So now you guys can have an Emerson and actually have it be, you know, decent quality. No offense to the Emerson fans, because I'm a fan of Emerson knives. I just don't like them as knives. They're great tools, but for the price you pay, you can do much better. The steel is M390, and check out that price. It's pretty good. That's about Emerson list price, but you're getting much better materials for what you're spending. And I'm assuming you're going to be getting a much smoother knife. I believe it's featuring, they're using bearings. Can't remember, but I do believe they are using bearings with this knife. So, that KBT. Very excited about that one. Here's a slightly cheaper version. This one is featuring Elmax steel. It has a black coated blade, which I do not prefer, and G10 scales. But it's only $40 less. So for $40 more, you get a better steel for the most part, a nicer looking blade, and carbon fiber instead of G10. So I mean, really, you know, I don't know. Some people may prefer having G10 and the black blade over carbon fiber and satin. But I'm just saying, for only $40 extra, you get a lot more bang for your buck. So I think that's an outstanding value, and they look great. I'm definitely getting one of these too. Not sure which one yet. I really want this one, but I don't know. Just outstanding. Very excited to see that. Another Kershaw, pretty cool, dingy looking knife. I'm not going to be getting one of these, but this one or that one I'm not really interested in. But you know, they're different. This one is interesting in particular because it is almost identical to one of the Schrade knives. So it's just kind of funny. You know, Schrade is, you know, very famous for ripping off knife designs, and here's Kershaw ripping off a Schrade ripoff design. I don't know. It's just kind of odd. But anyway, it's another budget-assisted knife in that black wash finish, and is also only going to be $20. So, you know, in the 3CR13 steel. Here's some more Kershaw designs. This thing's neat. It's like a stubby cryo, and they're calling it the Ember. So I'm assuming it's kind of like a take on that. You know, they're going to have a line. It is smaller. It's kind of cute. It has some of the Kershaw and the cryo influences. So it's kind of neat. It almost looks like a modified cryo. Like somebody took a Dremel and they shortened the blade on their cryo. This one's really cool, and I called this one, guys. I said that Kershaw would be very smart if they started making the cryo with a G10 scale, and then start making a bunch of aftermarket scales in different colors. They haven't started doing that yet, but I can guarantee that something like that will come up on the market. They'll start selling aftermarket scales for these. But fantastic. I'm very happy to see this. I probably will be picking one of these up because I sold my only cryo and I gave the other one that I had to my dad. So I'm missing my cryos, you guys. The cryo is just it grew on me. It's one of those knives. So there's nothing particularly special about it. It's just an overall really good knife. And this one, it has a G10 scale, so it'll make it lighter. You'll have a lot more traction, because that was one of my complaints with the cryo originally. It was kind of smooth. And also, it's going to have a stone-washed blade. So I'm very excited about this one. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same price as the other cryos. So they're not going to jack up the price. But it's also not going to greatly lower. But you know, it's just kind of cool. That's a nice kind of CRKT influence design. That amplitude. There's another version of the Knockout. OD green scales. Black blade. I'm not a huge fan of the Knockout. I thought I would be, but then I handled one in person, and it's just a bit thin for my liking. So, but there's that. There's another ZT fixed blade. You haven't seen another one. You haven't seen a ZT fixed blade in some time. Down here, you got some more cryos. These have been out. I've seen some pictures of these for a while. But here's a new version of the cryo with a recurved Tanto blade design. I actually really like it. It's not practical, but it looks cool. And you have that really cool, that neat grind. I really like that grind going on up here. I think it looks really cool. And it's also in a black wash. I think that's, or is this just the black version? No, it's the black wash version. But so they're doing that with the Kershaw, I'm sorry, with the Cryo 2 also. Here is another knife that I'm going to be getting that I am ecstatic about, and that is the ZT-0562, another Hinderer flipper design. And this one is much more reminiscent to the XM18. It has a 3.5-inch blade, so it is much more like the XM18. You have Hinderer's slicer grind going on up there, stone wash, going to be on bearings. This model, I believe, is going to have carbon fiber scales, and I'm just ecstatic about this. I'm definitely wanting to get one of these. Also, check out that price, $200 bucks, $60 cheaper than the ZT-0560, and I think it should be just as good of a knife. So that is very exciting. There's another Tomahawk. I'm gonna have to go, guys. And I'm going to, because my memory card is running out, but I'm going to be doing a part 2. So stay tuned, guys, and see you then.